This is how oblivious he is. Benchwarmer Nation. Like, follow, and subscribe.
We just want you to...
You got issues, my friend.
I sat there for 20 minutes waving to him, like, hey, bud. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. And then I'm like, he has no idea. And I can just hear him the whole time.
I didn't have my headset or my earbuds in. I didn't hear nothing. I didn't see nothing because I had this page closed because I'm just sitting there trying to get all kinds of shit going. Like,
Meanwhile, I'm sitting there going,
yeah, as I'm doing all the fucking work to get this show together.
oh, wow. I almost feel bad, except for the fact that, there's another podcast here that I have to do.
Absolutely. I agree. Let's, all right. Well, oh, wait.
Let's do it.
Closed out. Let's do it. All right, guys. All right. So we got news and notes this week. Not a whole hell of a lot going on. Pittman got the okay. He's going to be going this week for the Colts. The last game was pretty interesting. Didn't see that coming. Pitt getting absolutely rocked by Cleveland, 29-17. If you rocked or not, Jacoby Brissett, Mitch Trubisky. I don't know. Is it an O-line issue? What do you think, dude?
So, I think they ran out of gas. That's exactly what it sounds like to me.
With Mitch Trubisky, I don't know. Like, it's not like he has a bad completion percentage or anything like that. It's not like he's turning the ball over. And there were like 5 drops. So his completion percentage should be higher than it is with the 5 drops.
But the problem is
it's an offensive line issue. I don't think it's a Trubisky issue. I like him. I think he's a good quarterback.
It's also, he is pissed. He is hungry. He is fired up because everyone is, like, how about the kid? How about the kid? You got your backup quarterback who is probably of equal caliber, not game experience, but of skill. And it's now eating at him because everyone is comparing him, is saying, well, what about the kid? I can't think of the kid's name off the top of my head.
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. Exactly. You got Pickett in the back of your mind, and this kid's he is waiting for him to screw the pooch. And it's going to get to him. The kid's going to get in there soon because it's going to get to him.
Well, eventually the Pittsburghs are going to be outside. They're going to be like, all right, we got to put the kid in. Eventually, That's how it always works.
And also, Tomlin is one of the only coaches in NFL history to have never had a losing season, and he's not going to stop now. I mean, pretty much you have Belichick with, I believe, 17 seasons of a winning season. What's his name from Dallas back in the day?
Jimmy Johnson?
No.
Landry.
Yeah. Tom Landry, and I can't remember the other guy's name. It begins with an H, but pretty much. And then Mike Tomlin. That's it. So he ain't gonna let that happen this time. He's not gonna lose that streak.
Good points. All right, let's get this start with our. All right, buddy. So we got you with your must start this week.
I got Derek Carr. So they're playing the Titans this week, and the Titans have allowed 6 passing touchdowns through technically 7 quarters. 2 to Daniel Jones in week 1, 4 to Josh Allen before the 4th quarter on Monday night. And they've also underwhelmed in terms of getting the quarterback blitzing at the 10th highest. 10th highest, about 27% dropbacks, but applying pressure just under league average amount. And injuries have played a role. But Carr threw the ball better last week against Arizona, another team that blitzes a lot, and had nice 22 fantasy points and in overtime without having to connect Devonte Adams for a huge number. They should get back to basics this week versus the Titans defense that got crushed by Stephon Diggs last week and Sterling Shepard on a deep ball the week before. Tennessee ranks bottom 5 in catch rate allowed and yards per catch to wide receivers.
He's still Derek Carr isn't there yet. Like he, as a fantasy production guy, he's still sub 20. He's not there yet with the starting stats. I don't know, man. With 2 touchdowns last week, 252, no INTs. That's good. So the turnover issues from week 1 didn't follow over. Going against Tennessee, who they are hurting. They're not playing well. Derrick Henry's getting stopped in the backfield, and
right. And you got to remember, I'm not. You're the numbers and stats guy. I'm going after. I actually mainly go off of who are they playing against. You know, any team that's playing the Jets, unless you're Cleveland, I would, bet against that player. You know, anybody going against the Lions, the same thing. Anybody going against, the Buffalo? No, I'm not going to pay. I wouldn't put them in because you already know Buffalo is just a solid team. And I'm sure the refs will figure out some way to screw Buffalo over. But whenever I make these picks, it's always who are they playing against 90% of the time.
Okay, well, Derek Carr, hey, you know what? You make these not wild, but you make these picks every week, and it's crazy how much it pans out. I'll go, you know what? I don't think so. I don't know. And then I'm watching the game texting you like, you did it again. What the fuck? All right, well, moving on to my guy. I got Stafford, who's a must start. He was on my sleeper list last week. Now he's a starter. He did kind of flip the script as I said he would. Not a 3-1, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception kind of outing. 2 interceptions, still not bad. Still need to get a little bit better in the turnover aspect. Going against Arizona, that's ranked 30th against quarterback production. He's going to be throwing the ball. He's going to find his wide receivers. He's going to find his running backs. He's going to be it's going to be a shootout between Kyler Murray and Matthew Stafford. It's going to be a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns, probably a lot of turnovers. Most likely, I would say that.
What a shock! Matt Stafford and a turnover. I'm surprised he hasn't called himself Matt the Turnover Stafford. I mean, at this point.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move along to your running back.
I am going with Sir Darnell Henderson because I don't think Stafford's going to do too much in the air. But what?
Daryl.
What did I say, Darnell?
Yeah.
Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Listen. I was typing fast. What can you say? But Daryl Henderson Jr. from the Rams, not to be confused with Darnell, who's his cousin. When the Rams were on third or fourth down, Henderson played 8 out of 10 snaps. When the Rams were inside the 10, Henderson played 8 out of 12 snaps and had a touchdown. When the Rams were in the fourth quarter, Henderson played 12 out of 18 snaps. It appears Henderson has a grip on the important playing time in the Rams offense. Both Henderson and Cam Akers will run against the Cardinals defense that yielded 4.5 yards per carry and 3.5 yards after contact per rush. Both are in the bottom 12 of the league. Keep that in mind. Arizona only looked good against the run when Josh Jacobs was trying to grind down the clock in the fourth quarter of week 2. Otherwise, they struggled against the Chiefs in week 1, and Jacobs was better in the first half last week.
No, Daryl Henderson is the guy you want to have in this backfield, and you probably got him in 9th, 10th, 11th round. Awesome value for all those Cam Akers people out there. Still waiting for your apology, as his production's not there. His production's not there, and along with his production, his efficiency is absolute garbage.
Can you add the Ace Ventura when he's looking through the peephole?
Where are you guys?
Please add that. Please, there's a GIF for that in the software. Pop that up in post production.
Yes, the editing that I massively failed at last week. So much so that we got hit with
That was my bad.
The copyright.
That was my bad, folks.
So
Sorry.
we're filming this on Friday like we usually do, but we're going to have to upload it probably like 11:30 on Sunday. Sorry, gang. Follow us on Facebook, and you'll be able to see it then. See it whenever. And we can actually upload it to Facebook whenever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's just YouTube. It's just YouTube's the issue. So definitely follow us, like, subscribe. The link tree. Where's it at? It's all the way down at the bottom, isn't it? Link tree.
I got you, boo.
Hit that link tree. BATBB. That has all of our socials.
Everything.
Look it up. It'll be in the description as well. Give it a little clickaroo, and you won't miss any content.
Just give it a tap.
Along with every Tuesday, I'll be doing the waiver wires. And yeah. Right, buddy?
Yes, exactly. Waiver
and it's
wires.
all on the bottom, too. We got to scroll at the bottom. Check it out.
It's scrolling. It's scrolling.
Here.
Read this shit.
Right there.
Wait.
All right.
Focus,
Where
Joe.
were we? We were at Ekeler. All right, it's my turn. I did Austin Ekeler.
You love him. You seriously love this guy.
No, I do not love him. I said this guy's going to be a bust this year. This guy was not going to be what everyone thought he was. Going second, third overall in draft, and he's lucky he's getting a lot of targets. Like just right there, you see he's got 10 targets, 9 receptions, 55 yards, but is absolutely not being able to push the ball up the middle or get around his tackles or anything like that. His efficiency of running the ball is very, very poor. As soon as they figure out to put a safety on this guy, it's over. His production is going to be terrible. But he is a must start this week because he's going against Jacksonville. Jacksonville, who is 13th against running back production. So I definitely say you give this guy a start because he's definitely going to get continue to get his check down reads from a hobbled Herbert, right? Hobbled ribs. Herbert?
Yeah.
Ribs.
I thought it was his arm, but it's his ribs. So he is not ribbed for her pleasure today. This week.
All right, moving on to now we can do your Juju.
That's right. We're going to Juju on the speed here. I went with Juju Smith. So Gus Bradley will bring his zone heavy Colt scheme to Patrick Mahomes from throwing deep. In these situations, I've always been more of a fan of a short target instead of like dropping a bomb. Yeah, they're great for fantasy points, but when it comes to actually watching a game, I feel this is a smarter move. But I love short area targets like Juju Smith to come through for a volume driven stat line. Last week, Juju's snaps were split evenly between the slot and the wideout. A change from being more of the outside receiver in week 1. Well, what I'm feeling is that Juju will be even more in the slot this week to avoid coverage from Stephen Gilmore and Colts slot cornerback Kenny Moore, who has allowed 81% catch rate on 11 targets through 2 games with a touchdown given up on each. And Mahomes has thrown 17 passes this season against a cover 3, completing 89.5% of his throws for 271 yards. And Smith is tied with Travis Kelce for most receptions against that cover scheme.
Well, I didn't know all that, so it sounds really freaking good to me. You just talked me into it. Like I honestly, I was like, Juju, no. But yeah, that was great. Like you convinced me with that. I definitely would say, okay, sold. Sold me on that. Great. That was great.
To have a well-articulated innovation policy with emphasis on human resource development. Thank you.
What happened? I blacked out.
Well, that was interesting.
What happened?
Yeah. That was amazing.
It's the drink. It's the drink.
I went for my wide receiver start of the week. I went with Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is a target monster as he's always been, and he still is, with 10 targets last week, only catching 4 for 54 yards, no touchdowns. This week going against a so-so Chicago defense that's 18th ranked, middle of the road against wide receivers. I see that this could be a opportunity where he gets another 10, 12, 13 targets, catches about 7, 8 of them, maybe even catches 10 of them. I don't know. But he's definitely going over 100 yards this week and a touchdown. I definitely recommend if you need a wide receiver in a pinch and he's sitting there, you're like, he's not a sexy pick. He's never been. Brandon Cooks has never been a sexy pick. But this week, yeah.
You know what I haven't heard you say lately? I haven't heard
legs.
you say it at all this season. Besides, he's got legs. I haven't heard you say bell cow.
Bell cow? Well, I'll get there. we haven't really dealt with Derrick Henry. We didn't really talk much in depth about these guys that get 20, 25 carries. There are really not a lot of them left. No. So like a Saquon Barkley, he would be a bell cow back.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I can I vent for a minute? Do you mind if I vent?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so this goes out to wide receivers and running backs. Because as Monahan, I sent him my fantasy roster. Stop getting hurt! For the love of God! Stay healthy! Train in the off season! God!
You need to stretch them hammies.
Dude, them seriously. Cavies. Every player, every running back, every wide receiver on all 3 of my fantasy teams. Questionable, out, questionable. Stop it! Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, ankle tweak. Whoops. All right, well, let's. We're gonna move.
Put that boy in a damn bubble.
I was yelling at the TV. I was watching that game last week, and I was like, Matt Rule, why are you not using this guy at all? Like, it's crazy how he's not using him at all to run the ball or anything like that. But we're moving on.
That's just stupid.
You went with Devonte Smith.
Yes, I did. Shockingly, I went with an Eagles player. Again, same player, actually, from last week. You know what? I was impressed with the Eagles. They actually looked like a football team, and their greatest running back actually became a quarterback last week. So I'm very shocked about that, too. And it's hard to sit Smith after the game. After he caught all 7 of his week 2 targets for 80 yards, it's also hard to sit him after the Commanders allowed 3 touchdowns to the Lions receivers last week. To the Lions. Jaguars and Lions have totaled 7 pass attempts of 20-plus yards against the Commanders, 5th most in the NFL. Of the 5 that weren't completed, 3 were overthrows that would have otherwise been caught, and 1 was a wounded duck interception. If Jalen Hurts has a chance to dial up the deep pass to Smith, he should take it, and he should be on target with it. We'll see. If he throws like he threw last week, yes, it's possible. And on the season, Washington's ranked bottom 10 in pass coverage, and against wide receivers, including all these, every stat. Commanders are not doing too well. Targets, the thrown completions over 20-plus yards, and shorter throws have gone long distance. It would be unfair to mention that they do rank 11th in catch rate allowed to receivers, 61%, and top 5 in pass defenses against wideouts. But if the Eagles play exactly and or better than they did last week, they will steamroll the Commanders.
I don't know. There are also a lot of people are saying this could be a trap game for Philadelphia.
It's a trap.
They're going to go into this game thinking that it's not going to be as easy as they think.
So it's a catfish. Well, you know what? I'm not surprised. Again, if the Eagles play that way, but the Eagles like to play to a caliber of the other team.
That is true. They do
Kirk
play
Cousins
down to a lot of
choked.
teams. Well, he always does on prime time. That's what I said when you were giving me your what you call it, your bets for right before the game buddy. For your little parlay stuff and the little player stuff and all. Yeah, I told you I was like, Kirk Cousins plays like garbage, and you wanted to take Vikings. They're given 3.
That was my buddy who asked me for his opinion. I said I don't gamble, so I can only say I thought the Vikings were going to steamroll the Eagles. But no.
And I said,
you said no. You were right.
I said no. I said by 10.
Yeah. So my buddy won some money.
Good for him. I wish I forgot to put my $100 down on Houston last week after I said that they were going to win. They're getting that 10.
Right.
And they put, yep.
I used my Monopoly money.
Ah, Lucky you.
I didn't pass go or get $200.
Moving on, I went with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, 9 attempts, 43 yards, 1 touchdown last week. He also had another 7 targets, 4 receptions for 55 yards. I'm sorry, Zeke's getting phased out. And everyone's been waiting for it for a year or two now that Zeke was done, and I think Zeke is done. I think this could be the game going against a really bad Giants run D. They're given 20. They're ranked 28th. Oh, where's my thing at? There we go. Ranked 28th against running back production. I'm sorry, Zeke's getting phased out, and it's all over. It's going to be Pollard's show soon, and he's the quicker back. He's the more friendlier in the passing game, and you need that with Cooper Rush having to check down constantly. And they're going to probably play from behind for a lot of these games, so it's going to be garbage time stuff that he's going to be coming up and on.
And Ezekiel needs to shut up. Shut up.
Why? What do you say?
No, he's just always bitching, and he needs more. He wants more. He wants more. No, shut up and play the game. Ever notice some of the best players do not open their mouth?
What? Okay.
Who's doing the play?
Ooh, all right. We got our sleepers and redeemers next. So we're going to, first we'll stop and say, hey, if you like what you're watching, like, follow, and subscribe.
Yes, that's right. And also, as you can see, we're talking down here in the banner right here down below. Go to our link tree. Better yet, take your handy-dandy phone out if you're watching from your computer and copy that down right now. Use your camera, scan it. It'll take you right to our link tree so you can subscribe to anything that involves Benchwarmer Nation, Barfing the Bass Brigade, merchandise, you name it. We got it all right there. One-stop shopping on the Sleepers and Redeemers.
Ooh. All right, well, we got to start with your sleeper redeemer for quarterback, buddy.
So I'm going with the primetime choke artist right here, Kirk Cousins. Cousins seemed very out of sync against Philly, if you didn't notice. Many throws didn't have his usual velocity. He seemed to focus on getting rid of the ball as quickly as possible. He threw 3 deep passes and had 1 picked off, and would have completed 2 if not for bad drops by Irv Smith, who somebody told me I should draft him. No names.
Oh, hold on. You should definitely keep a hold of him.
I'm going to keep a hold of him.
Absolutely. He's his targets.
I know, but the matchup against the Lions should work out better for him because it's the Lions. Cousins will be home versus a pass defense that led up 3 touchdowns and 337 yards last week. The Carson Wentz and 12.8 yards per catch overall, 6th worst. Through 2 weeks. Cousins has also put up at least 23 fantasy points in 3 of his past 4 against the Lions. Expect the Lions to dial up a lot of blitzes as they have all season, but the zone coverage behind it, commas, punctuation, they work. Cousins should be able to navigate past that with the help of his offensive line. He should be good for at least 250 yards and a couple of scores, especially since he figures to get Adam Thielen more involved after barely connecting with him in week 2 or week 1 for that matter.
That's good points with Adam Thielen. Definitely, I think there's going to be a little bit more target share going his way. Irv Smith thing, just working off some rust. I think Irv Smith is going to have a fantastic year, especially where you got him in the draft. Definitely someone that you want to keep on the bench. Maybe I'm starting him this week. He's on my roster. I am definitely starting Irv Smith this week because I have TJ Hawkinson, who's been absolutely hot garbage.
Hey, Hawkinson garbage?
Hawkinson garbage.
You got to put a little chutzpah in the back of it. Hawkinson.
We have to gargle this week.
Hawkinson.
There she blows.
All right, well, my guy, I went with Trevor Lawrence for my sleeper this week. Trevor Lawrence looks like there's a slight uptick in production. I think he's actually starting to come together. Going against a 15th ranked defense against the Chargers for quarterback production fantasy world. Last week, he almost 84% completions, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. he's figuring it out. This is going to be an upward trend. I think if you don't have him rostered, you do roster him, and if you have to have a quarterback, you probably should start him this week. I definitely would feel comfortable in doing so.
I can dig it. I can dig it. I can.
Going on to running backs, your running back.
I went with Rashad Penny. Atlanta's defense, at least in terms of run defense metrics, isn't bad against running backs. They've allowed 4 yards per carry and right around the league average in terms of yards before and after contact. But they haven't quite been tested, only seeing 38 rushes against them through 2 games. But because of that, and because teams are converting third downs at a high rate against them on the ground, their defense total rush EPA is third worst, and that's going to stand out against Pete Carroll. Penny wasn't doing much in week 2, not in terms of production or playing time, but I have a feeling you will see much more work and find more success in what seems to be his easiest matchup yet this year. Not enough to call him a must start, but definitely a flex player.
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching the game last week, and what really stood out for me, Penny is an explosive player. He does have all the things that you need to be a starting running back in the NFL. He's fast. He's got good hands. He's all that. But what jumped off the screen wasn't Penny. It was Kenneth Walker. Did you see how big that kid is?
Yo! Yeah.
He's freaking man. He's a big boy. It's not like he's a big boy round. He's a big boy. He's tall and freaking just like a monster with muscles.
Dude, he is
built. He's going to be something else when they finally unleash him. But for now, it is Rashad Penny's backfield.
Yes.
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 Yeah, all right, moving on to my guy. I went with J.K. Dobbins. I think this is the week. It sounds like this is the week that everyone's been waiting for. Who's drafted him? I've drafted him. So I've been waiting very patiently, and it's a guy that I'm probably going to sneak into my flex spot this week to give him a good start. And there's no one there for Baltimore to run the ball at all. So they're going to give it to him. They have to. You can't expect Lamar Jackson to air it out like he did last week and run the ball left and right without him getting hurt. He's not going to be able to do that productively and remain on the field.
Well, Lamar Jackson did get put on the list for a day and then came back off.
They got to watch because last year he got really banged up from running all over the place because the backfield just couldn't do it. Well, you get J.K. Dobbins back this week. I know they're going to say they're going to try to ease him into it, but if he starts popping off, 10, 15-yard, 20-yard runs, you can't keep that kid off the field. And it's exactly what he did prior to his injury, where he was averaging almost 6 yards a carry, or I think over 6 yards a carry, and he had 800 yards rushing on the year in just a short span of games. The kid's good. Kid's explosive. Hopefully he comes back strong from the injury, and that's all I have to say about that.
Ooh. I'm just saying, you got to ask Lamar Jackson how his back feels after carrying the team for a year and a half.
Goodness. Well, now that offense is just clicking. Mark Andrews is nasty. Bateman, whatever that guy's the Duchovny, whatever.
David Duchovny's on the team. Agent Mulder's on there.
I forget the other wide receiver's name. It starts with a D. Duchovny.
Let's just say it's Robert Duvall, and let's just go on with it.
That's perfect.
Half these people are going, "Who the hell is Robert Duvall?"
So I like your next pick, and I'm a big fan of his. And we made a lot of big deals about him last year, and a lot of it has to do with him not being able to score fucking touchdowns. But Jacoby
Myers from New England. Ravens have played a ton of zone coverage through the first 2 weeks, including early in both of their matchups, but their opponents weren't chasing points on the scoreboard. The Ravens have also a league average in pass rush pressure rate and just below league average at blitz rate, suggesting their pass rush isn't as dangerous as it has been in the past. So those factors help set up Myers for another outing with some good volume. Jacoby Myers has seen at least 20% of his team's target share each week, including a stunning 38% share in week 2 against the Steelers. So obviously the Ravens ranked dead last in a bunch of pass defense categories after last week, but even on throws inside of the 10 yards, the Ravens ranked dead last in missed tackles and wideout catches with 10.
Hopefully they fix that defense. That secondary is atrocious. For a Baltimore team that usually has a stout defense, that was rough to watch. They were just getting
that was it was a little painful.
Anyway, so my wide receiver, I went with Greg Dortch.
Dortch. Greg Dortch.
Look, Greg Dortch. Yes.
Yeah.
So he's going against Vegas, and this is going to be a little bit of a shootout, I believe. So you're going to see Kyler Murray throwing that ball all over the place. Greg Dortch over the last 2 weeks, 4 targets. You got to take that down. 4 targets, for 4 receptions, 55 yards, 1 touchdown last week, and then followed it up the week prior with 9 targets, 7 receptions, 63 yards. He is going to continue to get the ball, and he's going to continue to catch the ball. And he looks like he is a good red zone target as well. So I definitely would say if you need somebody for all these injuries, I don't know if Julio's back or not.
Julio.
Mike Evans is suspended for a game. What other wide receivers up? Keenan Allen's out. If you need a guy to fill a roster spot, this is definitely a boom or bust, but I think he's going to boom this week.
Okay.
Now, speaking of booming and busting, of the week. All right, so your bust of the week. Is this 2 weeks in a row that you?
2 weeks.
Brought any fruits or vegetables onto the planet?
2 weeks.
Excuse me?
2 weeks.
2 weeks in a row because, and honestly, you didn't do this at all for the last couple of years. You never spoke badly about this player. 2 weeks in a row, and what we have is Tom. I like to throw my iPad. Brady.
that picture is actually the divorce papers that Giselle's is sending to him. He caught wind of it early. That's exactly what that is. So again, I have nothing to say about Tom Brady. We all know that he's the GOAT. So I don't think I would. I never thought I would actually recommend it once, let alone twice now. Sitting Brady for 2 weeks in a row, but this one seems a little too easy. Brady won't have Mike Evans, which, by the way, is a BS reason. He got struck first, and the player was defending his quarterback, which you should do. Good job, Mike Evans. But he won't have Mike Evans, won't have Chris Godwin, and he can't get good numbers out of Russell Gage. He might have Julio Jones, and who would have Rashad Penny as a top outside target either way. But behind an offensive line that's got its own issues, it's not ideal. The Packers allowed a nice game to Kirk Cousins in week 1. We saw that. It was horrible. Freaking Vikings got 23 points that game. Viking defense. Then rallied with the Bears, and we all know he owns Chicago. What's that wonderful Aaron Rodgers. So, but their pass rush is unicorn. They lead the NFL in pass rush pressure, around 42%, and are only blitzing 22% on dropbacks. They have an 8.5% sack rate, which is top 10, and they're going to get Brady. Like there's nothing about it. Offensive line is going to eat him.
It's not going to be all right. I'm going to chop it up.
Defensive line is going to eat Brady up. Offensive line ain't going to do anything. But the whole Mike Evans thing is BS. So
I'm about to bust.
All right, well, my bust of the week, I went with Tua. After that monster week he had last week for 468 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 INTs, one rushing attempt for 1 yard. He's going against Buffalo this week, and it's just not going to happen. He's not going to be able to do what he did last week against Buffalo. It's not going to happen. He's going to come crashing back down to earth, where he's going to have more of his meager stat line of 270 yards and a touchdown like he had with New England the week prior. Maybe he gets 2. Maybe you get 2 out of him. I'm not quite sure, but I'm scared.
about to bust.
I'm scared if I'm the one that has to start Tua this week against Buffalo because no one's doing good against Buffalo at all.
Hey, do you remember at the beginning of this episode what I said about who to pick and who not to pick?
No.
I said
Remind me.
It's not the play. It's not who the player you're picking. It's who they're playing against.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, if this is just a generally stat thing, then I'd be like, oh, Tua's going to have 6 touchdowns again because I'm retarded.
Everybody knows you never go full retard. You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
But anyway, all right, so let's move on to our bet of the week. Murphy.
So I am taking Las Vegas to beat Tennessee. They're giving Tennessee 2. I understand that, but I feel Vegas will at least. I mean, come on, at least a field goal. So you win right there if you bet on Vegas. I think Vegas will do a little bit better. At least a touchdown. But I mean, field goal is a field goal. So give them 2 points all you want. They kick a field goal, you're up. You're up by a point anyway in the betting, so you still win.
I think David Carr definitely outplays Tannehill this week.
I'm sorry, who? Who?
Tannehill?
No, the other guy?
Carr.
You said David Carr.
Oh. Wow. Whoops. Derek Carr. Excuse me. Good catch. Derek Carr.
Ew, David.
Derek Carr is going to outplay Tannehill. I don't think Derrick Henry gets back to where he was at. Like I said, prior to the season starting in our draft primer, over-under primer, whatever we did. But I was strictly saying the guy had a plate in his foot. There's going to be an issue with him running the ball. He's too big. Not too big. He's not too big. He's freaking monster. But what these guys they're just like big bags. They run out of the league quick. Like as soon as they only have like 2 or 3 good years and they're done. That's what their offense was. It was Derrick Henry. Like as much as you would say Tannehill was very productive, he's relying on Trayvon Burks. He doesn't have AJ Brown to go to. It's not the same offense. It's not. Vegas by a million.
Okay, I mean, I was saying maybe a field goal, probably a touchdown. You want to say by a million? I mean, I would love to see like the world's greatest football game. Just mops the floor with. I would love. I don't care what team it is. I would love to see a high scoring like 75-0. But I don't think that's going to happen.
We're talking Madden game.
Yeah, I know. Every time you played me, you destroyed me. I get it. We don't need to relive those days. All right.
All right. Well, my bet of the week, if it comes up, there it is. New Orleans is given 3 points to Carolina. I think this week, Jameis Wilson's not going to have such a bad game this week. He's going to get back on track, throwing touchdowns, taking care of the ball.
Sir.
And Alvin Kamara. Let me finish.
You said his name wrong again.
I said let me finish.
You said the name wrong.
Jameis Winston?
You said Wilson.
I said, I'm getting tongue-tied then.
You said Jameis Wilson.
Jameis Winston is going to get on target. Alvin Kamara is going to also get on target. And it's going to be same old Saints like they were 2 weeks ago. And it's going to be nice and pretty. And Matt Rule is going to go like this. I don't know what I'm doing. I have Baker Mayfield. It's the quarterback. Well, it's not the quarterback every time.
So I guess you could say the Saints going to come marching in?
Sure, if you want to have your trumpets out and everything like that. Well, hey, gang, thank you. Benchwarmers, thank you for joining us this week. Don't forget to click the link down below in the description, our link tree. Follow us on Facebook. Anything you have questions, hook up with the Discord. We will answer your questions. We are no longer going to do live shows, apparently. Maybe we'll sneak one in one of these days, but not this week. So, hey, thanks a lot, guys. Barfy.
See you later, guys. Make sure, Linktree, scan it right now. Just take your phone, bloop, done. 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds, 5.
All right, see you. I will see you Tuesday.